Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Afif Danish, and today we will discuss about our SPSS. So we will begin with the descriptive analysis. In this part, SPSS provide basic summary statistics for our dataset, such as the mean, standard deviation, minimum, and maximum values. These are useful for getting an overview of our data distribution. As you can see in the table, the variables in our dataset have different range and distributions. This gives us a preliminary understanding of our data before we move on the more advanced analysis. Next, we will look at the reliability tests, specifically using Crunchbench Alpha, which measure the internal consistency of a scale or set of variables. Crunchbench Alpha values range from 0 to 1, with values above 0.7 generally indicating good reliability. As we can see here, the Crunchbench Alpha value is 0.979. Since it's above 0.7, we can conclude that the items are reliably measuring the intent construct. Next, let's look at the Kaiser-Meyer-Olkin, or KMO test, which is used to assess the suitability of our data for factor analysis. The KMO value range from 0 to 1, and the value above 0.6 generally indicate that factor analysis is appropriate for the dataset. Here we have a KMO value of 0.882. Since it's above 0.6, we can confidently process with factor analysis. And now let's take a look at the total variance explain table. This table helps us understand how much of the variance in the data is explained by the factors. The first column shows the eigenvalue, which indicate the amount of variance explained by each factors. In this table, we can see that the first few factors have eigenvalues greater than 1, and they explain a substantial amount of the variance in our data. For example, the first factor explains 57.183% of the variance. Finally, let's examine the rotate component matrix. This table shows how each variable loads onto the factors we have identified in the factor analysis. The higher the value, the stronger the relationship between the variable and the factors. As you can see here, the variables load most strongly onto specific factors. For example, variable Q4 has a high loading on factor 1, suggests it's closely related to this factor. That's all for me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.